We are currently buying a house, and this channel, Pennies Not Perfection, is all about financial transparency in the hopes that it helps someone else out there. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing all of the details of the house that we're buying, and I hope that this is helpful for someone else who is maybe looking to buy a home in this price range or just wants to know kind of how the process works and what your closing disclosure will look like when you buy a home. So let's hop into it. I'm going to be going over the main points of our closing disclosure, and this is basically what the mortgage lender prepares to show you what your monthly payment's going to be, what you're going to be paying over the life of the loan, and all of the details about your actual loan, and all of the details about your closing costs. I'm going to be sharing just the highlights here, so let's get into it. Our closing disclosure is for a 30-year loan. This is a conventional loan. It is not an FHA loan. It is a fixed rate loan as well, so our rate will not change for the life of the 30-year loan, and it is a conventional loan. The sale price on the house that we bought was $405,000. That is what we offered and what they accepted, so that is the price of the home. In the first section of the closing disclosure, they share the loan terms. Basically, this lays out the details of your loan, the amount, the rate, all of that. For us, the home price was $405,000. We are putting down 10%, so the loan amount for us is $364,500. We did lock in our rate, so our interest rate on this loan is 6.375%. On the next line, you can see our actual monthly principal and interest payment. This is just the mortgage payment. This is not the full amount that we pay because we are going to be doing escrow with this loan, but just for the mortgage, we will be paying $2,274.01 per month for this mortgage. Then the next line is for the prepayment penalty, and there is none on this loan. That means I can pay down this loan faster if I want to. I, of course, am probably going to try to pay down my mortgage faster, so I want to make sure there's no prepayment penalty here. In the next section is the projected payments. This section is where things are what you are actually going to pay per month based on things like taxes and insurance. So for us, from years 1 to year 9, we are going to be paying a total per month of $2,919.17. Whew, getting close to $3,000 up there. That is including mortgage insurance. So that is $45.56 per month. So $45 roughly per month. Then at year 10, we will be at 20% equity in the house. So that will drop off, which is why there is a year 1 through 9 and a year 10 through 20. So that will eventually go away. Then the estimated escrow on this house is $599.60. So every single month we will be putting right about $600 into our escrow account, and that will pay our property taxes for the city and the county, and then also for our homeowners insurance in case anything happens to our house, you want to be insured. So that will cover both of those things. So that means our monthly payment is $2,919.17. And then years 10 through 30, when we have more equity and the mortgage insurance is dropped, that means we are going to be paying $2,873.61. Of course, that's not really what will happen because yes, our mortgage insurance will go away. But when you scroll down to the next section, that is estimated taxes, insurance, and assessments. It says right now $599.60 monthly, but it also says here amount can increase over time. And as a homeowner, I will tell you, it will increase over time. I've seen a lot of videos, especially on TikTok, of people shocked that their mortgage payment has gone up. And honestly, that's what mortgage payments do because your insurance and your taxes generally go up. Maybe not every year, but if you bought a new build, definitely that first year. And then over time, every couple years at least, you will probably see an increase in the amount that you owe for taxes and insurance. So for now, we did opt to do escrow. So that is the process that we are going with. It will be included in our monthly mortgage payment. And then our mortgage company will pay our insurance and our taxes from that account. So the next section shows the closing costs, the cost at closing. So closing costs for us for this loan were $13,744.30. And that included $6,011.77 in loan costs and $7,765 or $62 in other costs. The closing costs on your loan will vary greatly depending on who you use as a mortgage lender. So that is the reason you shop around, not only for rates, but what they're going to charge you for closing a loan. Every lender charges different amounts of fees for certain things, for the origination fee, for the appraisal fee, all of the different fees. So you want to make sure that you are picking someone with closing costs that are affordable for you. So for us, the cash to close is $49,622.31. This might be changing because the seller will be paying our closing costs. So we won't actually have to bring that much cash to the table because that amount is the down payment that you're going to be paying plus your actual closing costs. So for us, we won't actually end up bringing that much. We will get a final disclosure that's a little bit different than this, but overall, to start, our cash to close was $49,622.31. It's not cheap to buy a home, even when you're putting down a lower down payment, 10% down. Like I said, this is the disclosure before we had the repair resolution, so we didn't actually have them paying our closing costs at that time. So they will be covering pretty much all of the remaining closing costs. They were already paying $2,500. So lucky for us, we will not actually be bringing that full amount to closing. And then at the end, there is a calculating cash to close section where it compares what they first gave us from the lender to what is actually the reality of the final closing disclosure. And it went from cash to close total $52,538 to $49,622. So that amount did go down, which is good in my opinion. There are a lot of pages at the end that not everyone always pays a close attention to, but there are some really helpful things in those last pages, including the escrow account information. So you can see here for us, the escrow property cost over 1 year is about $7,096.76. And our initial escrow payment, like I said before, was $2,398.40. And then our monthly payment will be $645.16. So a lot of money going toward escrow for those two things. And then for me, as someone that is interested in paying off my home early, the most interesting thing in the end pages is the loan calculations. So basically, it tells you everything you'll be paying on this loan if you pay it exactly as planned over 30 years. So the total you'll pay with everything for the mortgage payment, which is the principal, interest, and the mortgage insurance, which we are taking because we did not put 20% down. The total amount is $830,016.82. So you will be paying double for this loan. Yes, $830,000, which is a lot of money. It is over 30 years. So of course, some of that will feel like a lot less. In 30 years, that amount might not feel like anything. It might be really small. But when you're looking at buying a $400,000 house and then you realize you're actually paying $800,000, it does feel like a lot. So you can see the next line says finance charge, and that is the dollar amount the loan will cost you. So taking out this loan will cost us $462,963.30. So the amount financed after we get the loan and actually pay the upfront finance charge is $360,596.13. So the APR is the cost over the long term expressed as a rate, and that's not your actual interest rate, but the APR on this loan is 6.577%. And then the total interest percentage, the TIP, is the total amount of interest you will pay over the loan term as a percentage of your loan amount. And that is 124.715%. That's a lot. So personally, we will be planning to pay down the mortgage a lot faster than 30 years. That's the plan at least. I hope seeing the closing disclosure was helpful and interesting to you. If you have any questions, leave them down in the description box. I'm happy to answer as many as I can. Of course, I am not a real estate professional. I'm just someone that likes to talk about money on the internet. None of this is professional advice, of course. That's it for now. I'll see you in the next video.